The FIFA scandal is still very much rife in the news, especially when Sepp Blatter stood down from his re-elected post as FIFA President. Here now on the line is Lee Phelps, William Hill's in-play radio host, here to discuss some of the betting markets focused around the FIFA scandal here. Now, one of the first outrights I found, which actually does have some value, and that's how many FIFA executives will be jailed. We have the under 4.5 priced 1.62 and the over 4.5 priced 2.2, and that's both with Paddy Power. What are you thinking?
I mean, it's an unbelievable market, isn't it? It's absolutely crazy. I'd probably be looking at the overs here, to be honest with you. I mean, the way the FBI have been talking, you'd expect that they've got a lot of information here, haven't you? I mean, the problem here we've got is that jailed is a pretty strong term, isn't it? You know, I know, see, in the UK, when you get kind of, banking fraud and stuff, you don't tend to get jail sentences. In the US, you do. So I think jailed is the tricky one here. What charged would be a more interesting, term for me. How many would be charged with a crime? That would be, I think I'd be more likely to go overs on that. I think there'll be lots brought to book. Whether they'll be jailed or not is another matter for me, Natalie. And who knows? I'm not sure. But if the FBI follow it through to the full letter of the law, I think we could get over 4.5, so 5 or more in the end. I mean, FIFA, we might not know about some of the FIFA execs, for instance, who are involved in this. We only know about the headline ones so far, don't we? But, there's lots of plea bargaining going on as well. There's lots of people suddenly talking, aren't they? And, we know that plea bargaining is a big thing in the States. So that could save some jail sentences. So just be wary on the terminology of this. But, if they are brought to book and it all goes through, I think more than 5 will be brought to book, just debating whether they'll be sent to prison.
Right. Well, another market that's out is whether Sepp Blatter will be imprisoned before January 1st, 2016. But the odds for a no is very low, 1.07 compared to the yes, which is 7. That's both at Paddy Power. But I would say the way that the courts move, I think it is going to be a very long process. You're right. We do have people coming over and they're offering a plea bargain. They're talking. I think it's going to take a very long time. I personally am going to go for no. Any chance he'll, what do you think?
Can I just consult my lawyer on this one, please? I'm worried that Sepp might come and knock on the door. No, I think no as well. I don't. I mean, surely the fact. I mean, we know he's, he's stuck there for longer than many thought he would do. But the fact that he's still staying there, the fact that he hasn't said I'm resigning and I'm going quietly, I'm going away somewhere, suggests to me that maybe he might not be the one who carries the can for this in the end. But yeah, no, I'll go no, just for lots of different reasons.
Yeah. Were you surprised when he stood down?
Yes. Before, I thought he might stand down before the election, but it's so Sepp Blatter that he thought, do you know what? I'll win the election and then I'll step down. It's just unbelievable arrogance, isn't it? So, yeah. I thought he'd step down before. Once he'd won, I thought, here we go then. We've got another few years of this to go. Then suddenly it was like, oh no, he's resigned. I thought, okay. Yeah, but no, nothing really surprises you anymore, does it, in this situation?
Very true, very true. Listen, we did a video a while ago. It was called "Has FIFA Gone Too Far with Qatar?" We discussed the very hot conditions that both the players and spectators would have to endure and the disruption that it would cause to the domestic schedules due to it being held during the winter months. Is there a chance that the World Cup 2022 will not be held in Qatar?
Yeah, I mean, I think I said it. I can't remember because it was a little while ago, but I think I was suggesting at the time that I thought it would go to USA. And I still think that might be the case, Natalie. I mean, there are lots of stories and lots of rumours about, the Qatar World Cup in particular, it's being investigated, as is the Russian one. But the Qatar one, I think, given what the European clubs think of this, they don't want that disruption to their schedule if they can get away with it. If it has to happen, I think they will make it happen and it will go ahead. But I think if there's any possibility of the Qatar World Cup not going ahead, I think they'll take that. They'll try the hardest. If Michel Platini gets in as Sepp Blatter's replacement, then I think we could really see a move away from Qatar. But I'll be playing yes on that one. I think the USA will get that World Cup.
Yeah. Well, yes is 2.2 and no is 1.66.
Yeah, I'd play I'd definitely play. Of those two, I'd play the yes. I just can't imagine it still. I kind of got my head around the fact that we'd have a Winter World Cup, and fine, that's okay. As a fan, I don't mind. But I think that there'll be enough political pressure behind the scenes to strip that World Cup because of the winter element for Europe. That I think that would be an easier one to scrap than the Russian one.
Mm-hmm. And do you not think that obviously being held in the winter months will cause disruption for our domestic matches?
Yeah, it would, but I mean, it's not the end of the world, is it? I mean, it's so what? It's just one season. It wouldn't matter to me. I think it'd be quite an event. It'd be great, over the winter months to have that to look forward to.
Change things up for a season.
Yeah, I mean, it would happen. Then 5 years, 10 years later, people go, "Oh, do you remember when they had that Winter World Cup?" Yeah, that was great, wasn't it? That'd be it, wouldn't it? It's not the end of the world. It's only football at the end of the world at the end of the day, isn't it?
Now, looking at the odds for the next FIFA president here, it looks like we've got 3 contenders. Favourite is Prince Ali Al Hussein, priced 2.25. Then we've got Michel Platini, priced 3.25. And then Sheikh Ahmed Al Sabah, priced 5.5. And those are all with Bet365 there. Who's your favourite at this point?
Well, I mean, the fact that the runner-up in this, Prince Ali Al Hussein, who was standing before and has done a lot of work in this, is running for it. You'd have to say that he's in a good position, wouldn't you? Because he's the guy who's already been there. He's been putting in the hard yards. He's been pressing the flesh around the world. I think he's an obvious next step on from this because he will have met all the relevant people. Michel Platini obviously fell out with Sepp Blatter. He's the head of UEFA. I think, basically, the way to look at this is that the African nations, as we know, and the Asian nations, they have a big say in this. That's why Sepp Blatter got in. A lot of European, confederations didn't want him to be there, but the African and the Asian nations have got massive pull in this. So it's who they want to vote for. I don't think they go for Michel Platini. I don't think they'll want Europe to have that much power over the whole of world football. And I'm not sure it's right that Europe has that much power over world football. One good thing that Sepp Blatter has done is managed to bring up football in Africa, football in Asia, and make football a real worldwide event now. I was in Brazil last year, Natalie, and the amount of US fans and the amount of Australian fans who were there was phenomenal. I mean, unbelievable. I thought, it's like the game has taken off in the USA and Australia to such an extent I was stunned. So that is a great job that he's done. So I don't think they'll go for Michel Platini. I don't see any of the others who've come in as later doing it. I mean, Luis Figo, obviously, a legendary footballer. Don't see him getting that, that massive support. Sheikh Ahmed Al Sabah, he'd be my outside choice if I had to go for one. But I think the favourite's, decent enough price. You're looking at around, just over even money, aren't you? Around the 2.2 mark for Prince Ali Al Hussein, and he will have been to those African countries. He will have been around Asia. He'll have been meeting those people and pressing the flesh and impressing them. So now Sepp's not there. They'll probably go, well, we met that guy. He was good. Let's go for him.
All right. Now, listen, the final market I could find is UEFA nations to boycott the 2018 World Cup and stage their own tournament. That's priced 11. There's no yes or no. You can just take that bet, 11. I think it's rather drastic, but is there any chance of that happening?
No. That would only have happened if Sepp Blatter was still in charge. So no, that won't happen now. That won't happen now. I mean, I think FIFA will reform. It might take a lot longer than people want, but FIFA will reform, and whoever takes over from Sepp Blatter will be under immediate pressure to make sure that FIFA is changed and the way the voting process is done is changed. I mean, the next FIFA World Cup elections have already been shelved, pending an investigation into how this process is carried out. So we will see a lot stricter rules, I think, in the future. No, I think the 2018 World Cup will go ahead in Russia, unless there's some massive scandal that is brought out, and then maybe it will be, there'll be another process, and we'll have to, pick another nation for 2018. But what won't happen is a boycott, and European countries won't stage their own. That won't happen.
All right, wonderful. Lee Phelps, thank you for joining us today.
No problem.